if you don't want to work. Yeah, if you don't want to work, what are your other options? I mean, maybe you're in your 30s and living at your parents' house, and I'm sure you really can't be enjoying that, man. I mean, have some dignity and self-respect. So you have to figure out a way, and I'm trying to help you here. You know, if entrepreneurship isn't in your blood, then you're gonna have to get a job working for somebody else, which, as I've discovered through trying entrepreneurship and getting jobs, getting a good job can be difficult, but it is so much easier than entrepreneurship, because when you pursue entrepreneurship, you have to work 1,000 times harder than somebody that just has a job working for somebody else. So if you're not willing to put in all of that work and work 15-hour days, 12-hour days pursuing your personal business entrepreneurship, then you're going to have to get a job working for someone else. But you can use the system to game the system, right? So you don't have to stay in an exploitative job where they're getting more out of you than you're getting out of the job. You might have to start with a job like that just to pay the bills, but there are plenty of decent jobs out there where you can basically get more out of the job than they're getting from you. Not that you shouldn't be putting your effort into it and giving your employer something in return. But you got to use the system to game the system. If you don't have very many resources, how are you going to build and do what you want to do with your life? Some people have a mistaken notion of what freedom is. If you have this frankly immature notion that you don't want to work for the man and you don't want to be a cog in the system and blah blah blah, but you're like living at your parents' house and you got no job and no money and no partner, then you think you're more free than someone who has a traditional job and is able to buy the food that they want and go on trips around the world when they want to, and help other people because they have resources. That's completely backwards. If you have no resources, you have no freedom, basically. If you want to participate in society, unless you want to completely drop out and become a monk or something, which I've done. So I think I'm going to make another video on how to become a monk as well. But, you know, if you want to completely drop out of society, then you got to own that as well. And that actually entails even more work, actually. As I know, since I was a monk, as I just said. So, I encourage you to think about this whole thing differently. You know, if you don't want to work. By this point, I've had plenty of jobs, including the jobs that I currently have, that I enjoy. So a lot of times it doesn't even feel like work to me. When I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to defend corporate networks and critical infrastructure from hackers, I don't dread it at all. Like, I have no negative emotions about that. And so I would encourage you to reframe and open your mind to the possibility that you can find a job that you actually enjoy and have very little negative feelings about. You know, even jobs that aren't so great, that you might have to start out with, can be enjoyable. Like, you get to hang out with people. Like the crappy jobs that I had working at restaurants, like, there were still fun times, you know, when it's slow and the people you work with become your friends, and you can have a good time and meet people. It's not, I even met customers that were really cool, that I ended up connecting with. So You got to open your mind, expand your mind. And there are plenty of resources, talk to people, network, search online. You open your mind. There's so many possibilities. And then the more you put yourself out there, the more doors are going to open up, and unexpected things can happen. But you gotta put yourself out there and do it. These days you don't even have to physically go out of your house. You can put yourself out there on your computer. So if you really don't want to work, you have to go through the process and smash through walls so you can relax on the other side. Because if you don't go through the gauntlet and do the work in order to earn your relaxation and non-participation in the BS, you have to earn it. Unless you just want to sit at your parents' house and be a loser, which, since you're watching this video at the Level Up Dojo, you obviously want to level up. And so the keys are: break it down into smaller steps. You're not going to be able to do everything at once, but you got to do your research. You got to start applying to jobs. Realize that you're going to have certain jobs in order to eventually, if you want to do your own thing and get paid for it, you might be able to start there, but like I said, typically entrepreneurship requires thousands of times more effort and time and energy than having a traditional job working for someone else. And so I intend to pursue entrepreneurship, but I've kind of realized that this is a good way, using the system in order to game the system. You want to build and level up and leverage all of these possibilities. So like I said, use the jobs in order to level up, so then you can level up more. You gotta climb up the ladder. Basically with pretty much all types of success, you're not just gonna jump straight. You gotta go rung by rung on the ladder. It's all about process, not events. Nothing amazing. No great success is going to happen overnight. It's going to come from weeks and months and years of consistent effort. So enjoy the process, but also have a goal in mind. It's like you're swimming to an island, right? You got to focus on your swimming, but every once in a while you got to look up to the island and make sure you're going in the right direction, because you do have a goal. So figure out the steps towards that goal. Enjoy leveling up. I used to be a rebel and I didn't want to work, and I was going to do my own thing and do what you love and the money will follow. And that didn't work out so great. So eventually I had to get a jobby, Freddy. And, I had a bunch of really crappy jobs, working at casual dining restaurants and whatnot. And then I landed in this job at a help desk doing tech support. And this job was great. So this is when I started using the system to game the system, because you can find jobs that let you do other stuff while you're working at that job. So this is what I recommend. Find one of these jobs where you got a bunch of free time at the job to do your other stuff, so you can eventually work towards doing the type of work that you enjoy, so it won't feel like work later on, right? So with this help desk job I had, there was a bunch of free time at the job. So I would study, I would watch educational YouTube videos, I was taking online college classes, which I would do at the job. So it was like a twofer or a threefer. I would be doing all this other stuff, building and leveling up while I was getting paid to sit there in front of a computer at this job. I would even take language lessons when the bosses would leave at night. I would stay at work, do overtime, and do language lessons through Skype in the conference room. So this is what you got to do, is find a job where you don't have to be engaged with that the entire time, and then you can level up with your other stuff at the same time. So eventually you can build towards doing your own thing and getting paid for it. Furthermore, if you don't know what you want to do, then you got to try a bunch of different stuff. Research it online. You're already watching this video. Do more research. Everybody has different things that they're interested in or that they find enjoyable. Now I'm a professor, which I enjoy. I also work with computers and do cybersecurity, which I also enjoy. So it was a long journey though. Like I said, I started off at these ridiculously low-paying restaurant jobs. So a lot of people have their act together more than I did coming up. So it was a long journey for me, and I'm still on it. But if you really just don't want to work and you want to be lazy, you gotta man up, or woman up, or whatever. It's so much better because it's all about momentum, right? It becomes enjoyable to work once you get in the zone. If you haven't been working and you're sitting on your couch and you're being lazy or whatever, you have this inertia to where the mountain just seems so high. But you gotta hack that. You gotta hack the process and break it down into little steps. All right, so enjoy leveling up. Peace.